Today I will show you how to make this painting. I love it and I hope you like it too. It all started some time ago with this picture in the newspaper. Someone on a spiral staircase. Do notice the beautiful color combination. Hi there, my name is Albert van Zwart. Welcome to Imperfect Paintings, inspiring you to embrace the magic of making art. Spirals can come in many shapes, as you can see here. Along the way to the final painting I will walk you through the different aspects of it. I will also explain the options you have, so you can make your own version. Easy does it. First I make a print of the stairs picture and simply cut out the easiest part, the side or the closed baluster newel section. By doing it like this, I suddenly notice other elements, like the handrail, which add to the beauty of it. The middle has to be on the center of the sheet, so I measure and take a 40 by 40 cm test sheet and red paint. When dry, I put a dot in the center and now I can test the position I like best. I have 4 options. Or it looks like I have. But I can flip my cutout and raise it to 8 options. Due to the shape of the test cutout, I automatically align it to the sides of the red sheet. Perhaps this is more interesting. And suddenly I have way more options, times 2. To paint a spiral on my test sheet, I take the leftover of the cutout and make it my tool. Always paint from the stencil to the paper, otherwise you could slide paint under the stencil. After painting 2 layers of white, here it is. A painting with a sort of perfect spiral and the error. It's interesting how the 2 colors work together, but the spiral doesn't finish at the border, yet. Now it does. But to be honest, it looks too perfect, and in my world, perfect equals boring. So now I have to come up with a more interesting spiral. I take a sheet, cut it to 50 by 50 cm, take a pencil and draw an idea of a spiral, probably not that visible, so a new version using oil pastels. I also have this, 2 pencils taped to a piece of wood. I can use it to draw a wider spiral. Oh man, this goes ugly. I want to flip the sheet, but in a flash I see it actually looks interesting. Almost what I look for. Let me show you by redrawing the lines using blue. I have this mantra, doing, so instead of turning to the internet to find a perfect spiral or how to make one, I just created a more playful, imperfect or artistic version. I now flip the sheet and do it a second time to see if something interesting will come out. Anyway, fun to do. Back to the blue version. I changed it so it reaches the edge of the paper, cut it out and now I have my stencil for the next step. A new 50 by 50 cm sheet. I divide it to 9 equal sized squares and paint each one in a different color. You can argue about the color combination, but this is just an example, a test. Again, there are a million options when choosing a color combination. When dry, I put the stencil on top and paint a white spiral again. And voila, this is the new situation after 1 layer of white. Do notice the transparency of the white spiral, perhaps useful to know for another project. After applying a second layer of white, again, I can look at which position I prefer. A step closer to the final painting is turning the edges of the painting into a white zone, while leaving a colored circle in the middle. I don't have a compass to draw a circle with a diameter of 50 cm, so I try a tray and the lids of the laundry bins. To see if the position is right, I use a glue stick to measure. And again white paint, and within seconds I know the outside white will be too massive. Doing makes it clear. Actually, the white spiral is too dominant as well. The colored squares almost disappear, but above all, I want a better color combination. Now for real. So, a new sheet. Actually, I treat myself and bought a canvas. I work the other way around this time, so I paint the whole canvas white. I use the lid again, measure and use the yellow color pencil to draw a circle. I mix a light yellow and paint a circle to have a clue where to paint and where not. Now I just go for the spiral. Freehand again. And again, not that perfect, but in the end it doesn't matter that much, you'll see. I will use the primary colors, in my case cadmium red, cadmium yellow and ultramarine. The fun of the next part lies in choosing the right position and the right shape of the colored parts. It's a bit of a freestyle coloring page. Of course it's personal, so what I think is right or feels right. It's not that difficult. To make it easier for myself, I paint one color at a time. I also often paint them in threes, spreading them some way equally over the circle, but not exactly on the same spot or next to the same color. The spot where I painted the spiral has to be left alone, although I now and then forget it, partly because I painted over it at the edge of the circle and partly because of the lack of contrast when I paint the darker colors. When done, I mix different colors and mix them with titanium white to make them opaque, and fill in the empty parts until I'm done. Without any intention of patronizing, let me show you how my transparent paint works. First the ultramarine line on the paper. When dry, I take cadmium red and paint over it. The paper becomes red and the line stays visible. Here I continue applying more layers, but the line stays visible. Now I add mixing white. It's half transparent and I paint over the blue line. Over to titanium white, an opaque white, and the line disappears way easier, but the color of the red also changes more to pinkish. When dry, the titanium white makes the line more or less disappear. Doing test runs like this helped me a lot to understand how the paint can be used for different purposes. It doesn't matter which brand you use. The label often shows what type of paint it is. In my case, a white centered square for transparent and a black one for opaque. Another option I use a lot is acrylics medium. Usually I dilute it with water. The cadmium red is already transparent, but the acrylics medium helps me to make the paint layer even thinner, and it makes the paint flow nicely. It comes in a matte and a gloss version. I always go for gloss. So when painting over the line, it doesn't help to cover it, but the colors can work together. And when dry, the surface is a bit gloss, or at least it will reflect the light in a different way. It all looks nice at this point, but in a way also flat, dull, and a lot of the colored shapes have a pastel-like feel because of the use of titanium white when mixing lighter colors. I like some more nuance, so I take blue and yellow and mix a green. From this mixed darker green I create two lighter versions by adding white. Where the darker green and the lighter pink meet, I try to enforce the contrast by painting a darker green next to the pink, and continue along the light blue, the yellow and another light blue part. On the other side, next to the dark blue, I paint a lighter green. In the middle I add the middle green. It's not mandatory, but just part of the fun of making a painting like this. For these darker blue parts I used acrylic medium. When tilting the camera, you see they all stand out in a way, and the outer part looks different in color from the middle. Playing this way can keep me happy for hours. It's fun, relaxing, and it helps to enhance my painting skills. Showing every step is like watching paint dry, so here just a few shots. In the beginning I showed the picture of the perfect stairs, but I actually prefer to color outside the lines. So when I paint over the light yellow spiral to make it all white, it becomes clear my colored shapes nibbled on its territory. By making it white, I also open the circle, like I can breathe in and out, in and out. Is the spiral open enough, visible enough? I always like to have some balance in my painting. So here the white takes back some space of the orange shape. And here I paint a white line that creeps in between the colored shapes. Let's see if this is a good spot for it, in the hallway, close to the stairs. Do you know the effect of adding a thin line in your artwork? Just click on the link and I will see you over there in the next video. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.